It's that time again, Our Town Live, where friends, family, people you know, and others you'd rather not know share with us their unique bits of wisdom. And now, here's Herb, your host, for another show.
Today, we're featuring Brandon Hardison, Director of Sales Training for the Jim Ellis Automotive Group here in Atlanta, Georgia. Brandon has spent more than 25 years of success building teams to drive revenue, growth, and profits at a national-wide level. He has consistently delivered tangible results by leading sales and service and marketing initiatives, while using his dynamic leadership qualities and experiences in building compelling cultures that seek continuous improvement in staff development and sales and service effectiveness. He is and has always been a leader in the sales profession, executive sales manager, coach, master classroom educator, motivational speaker with a proven track record working with general through K-12 populations. We're lucky to have Brandon with us today to talk sales and sales training.
Hi, Herb. Well, originally from Camden, New Jersey. If anybody's heard of Philadelphia, it's right on the other side of the Delaware River. And born and raised in Trenton, New Jersey, graduated high school there. Found my way to Wisconsin for undergraduate and graduate work. And instead of me going into teaching, which I did for my undergraduate and graduate work, I went into sales, and I love it and been loving it ever since.
Where are you currently?
Currently, I am the sales training director for the Jim Ellis Automotive Group, which is in Atlanta, Georgia, the largest family-owned group in the metro area. We have 18 dealerships around the metro area, and my job is any individual employee that's involved with sales, I must touch. So whether that's receptionists, whether that is service advisors, whether that is what we call business development centers, sales and service, whether that's traditional salespeople, whether that's sales managers or general managers, whether that's parts people. So I have about 3,800 people that depend on me to make them a little bit better, so you can have a great experience when you come into one of our dealers.
Now, I understand that you're a recruiter, hirer, you take care of onboarding, orientation, classroom, field training. This goes on forever. Of all of these responsibilities, which one do you like to do the best?
The one that I love to do the best would be the initial training. Once they've gone through orientation and once they've been acclimated at their particular dealership, as far as knowing the departments and knowing what their job responsibilities are, now it's actually time to sit with them one-on-one or in small groups or large groups if they're salespeople, and actually going through the training. And here's the reason being, I don't care if you're a receptionist, I don't care if you're a salesperson. I'm from the old school. There's always a camera running, and we always role play. So by role playing, it gives me an opportunity to critique them and coach them better. And the biggest thing I get out of it, Herb, I don't care what their job is, here's the response. If I was with a real customer, I wouldn't do that. Now, I don't know if you played sports back or if you even watch some sports. I don't know anyone that says in practice, I wouldn't do that, coach, if we were in the real game. Yes, you would. You just don't realize it. So that's why I love the first few days when we do have coaching with them, because when they see or hear themselves, they say, ooh, that's what I sound like, or that's what yes. And that's what we need to change so the guests can have a better experience.
What, in your opinion, what personality trait or traits make the best prospects for sales?
someone that can listen and someone that is a team player. Everything else, believe it or not, we can deal with. And the reason why I say that to you, being in sales or sales training and coaching for the majority of my life, the pendulum is starting to go down, Herb. I was at a high school in Beaufort yesterday, Lanier High School, talking to seniors, and I let them know that the two biggest reasons why people do not make it in the first 90 days in any job has nothing to do with the job or the job description. Number one is attendance, and they control that. And number two is attitude. That's why most people are losing their jobs today as we speak. Because for some reason in high school, middle school, they didn't understand the importance of that bell going off, and you needed to be in the other class before that bell rang again. And they cannot work with other individuals or small groups to get a job done. And that really scares me for my nation moving forward.
What factor has most contributed to your success in sales?
I would say the biggest thing for that is having something that I want to achieve. I guess I come up from an era there that you want something out of life, since we're all fortunate to live in this great experiment called capitalism. I always wanted a better way of life. I told you where I came from. So growing up in the projects, I always wanted to do better for myself. So I was hungry, and I'm still hungry, and I still want things. So that was my driving factor, and it's still my driving factor, even though I'm doing this job with Jim Ellis right now. I'm coming to a transition in my life, and I'm getting prepared for that. I've already written 3 books. I want to do what you do as far as podcasts. I want to have a radio station. I just want to go around and coach and speak in front of large groups. So I guess having hunger, having a want is my driving factor. And I guess there's still a few Americans out there that still are that way. But it scares me that we have a whole lot of people that's not their driving motivation.
What has been your biggest customer success, the one you're most proud of with one sale?
Okay. The one biggest sale, I would say, would be with a gentleman who's gone on, but he had a few nightclubs, entertainment spots. They were called the Playboy Club. If you remember Hugh Hefner.
Hugh Hefner, of course.
When the days of disco were out, I had my own business while I was going to college, and I had a few disco rigs. And long story short, he allowed me to be the program director for his Playboy Club in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. So to me, coming from where I came from, to have a man of his stature be sold on what I presented, I felt that was my best close.
What's the biggest screw up you've had in your career?
Outstanding question. The biggest screw up in my career, now that I look back at it, I don't have a problem with the Big Ten. I should have took a scholarship from another Big Ten school besides Wisconsin.
Interesting.
The time that I went there, it was really called the Big 2 and the Little 8. It was Ohio State and Michigan, and everybody else was killing each other. That would be about my only change. I would have done that. I wouldn't look at it as a screw-up, but coming from where I came from in high school, I was a state champion. I was a national track
Wow.
athlete. I was not used to losing,
Yep.
and we did not win that many games at Wisconsin.
If you had to start all over again and had to change one thing or add one thing or subtract one thing, what would it be?
If I would have to look at that, I would have to say I wish I could have been like other folks and been raised by a family instead of being raised by the state of New Jersey as a foster child.
Tell me about the relationships you've had with the people you've worked with.
Oh, outstanding. I don't know where to begin. I was very successful in sports. One of my problems that still haunted me for a while, I had a chance to try out for the 68 Summer Olympics for the long jumper. Didn't make it, so it stayed in my gut. But I always wanted to go back. But I had to get prepared, this time as a public address announcer. So I worked for a minor league team, double-A affiliate of the Boston Red Sox, the Trenton Thunder. And in that position, I met Mr. Steinbrenner. I met James Earl Jones. I met a couple of presidents, governors. There's so many entertainers and athletes that I've been like my career. I'm still trying to think. Okay, I'll single one out. I got one. His name was Al McGuire. I don't know if anybody heard of him, but he was the basketball coach at Marquette University.
Mm-hmm.
The only time Marquette University won the national basketball championship, he was the coach. He was from New York, so that's how I knew him. He was my halftime guest when I was at Wisconsin. We were playing a basketball game, and my forte at the time was radio, TV. I liked sports announcing. And he said, "You do that pretty well. Would you like to continue doing it?" And I'm saying, well, I had a scholarship for undergraduate. I have no money for master's. And so he said, "Come see me." And he helped me get a full ride at Marquette so I can get my master's. And my first master's was in radio and TV broadcasting. So I would say Al McGuire, if I'd have to think of a person right now, I bless him for giving me an opportunity.
Now I want you to give me some hints about buying a car. What's the best time and date to buy a car, in your opinion?
Boy, that I laugh at that because I know that a whole lot of so-called experts talk about certain times of the season, end of the year, end of the month. The best time, Herb, right now is when you are ready. It can be today. For some reason, people have these fallacies in their head that there's gazillions of dollars of markup, and managers are be willing to wheel and deal at the end of the month or the end of the year. All of those are myths. All of those are myths. If I were to tell you that furniture has more markup than an automobile, that yachts have more markup than an automobile, homes have more markup than an automobile, but for some reason, people feel that automobiles got all of this room. So to answer your question, today is the best day to buy it. Today, you will get your best deal, if you will, from a manager, because it's all relevant. There's only so much percentage in a vehicle. So if you are serious and you've done your homework, today's the best day to buy it.
Mr. Manager, I want to buy a car right now. Should I bring credit or cash?
Credit, keep your cash. There are so many financial institutions, if not the manufacturer's direct arm of paper, but there's so many financial institutions that you can really, if you do it right, get money back from them.